Welcome, everyone. We'll wait a minute or so for folks to. All right. If you're here, let me know. Say hi in the chat. One more link here. All right, so this is Developer Office Hour. Welcome. This is where I typically take some questions from the forums, from Discord that we've had, and I bring them up here and I show how I answered them, and then these are recorded and available afterwards for you to learn from. And it's also an opportunity for you to come in here and ask questions live if you like, and I can do my best to try to answer those. Everything that we do is logged here. Hey, Ashley. And this is a repository. There's a link here to this Omniverse FAQ that has a nice list to go through all the questions that have been asked over time. And then in here is a date stamped extension with the code that I show every week. I'm going to show a couple more things here at the beginning. Yesterday, we released a really cool video about universal scene description. This is a kickoff video for a series that we're doing on YouTube called USD for Developers, and this kind of goes over the initial concepts that some of the concepts that we want to cover over the series, and then we'll go more in depth during the next couple months. So there's that to look forward to. Watch this. It's a really great video, and then stay in the loop for the future videos. And lastly, if you haven't already and you've been around the Omniverse community for a bit, I just wanted to encourage you to check out this page, our community page, where you can become an Omniverse insider. And this is just a form that you can fill out. You can fill out a little bit now and add in more information later on, especially because it has to do with you, who you are, what your experience is, what applications you're using. So it's great to keep that up to date. And what we do with that is we want to know who's out there in our community, and we have special opportunities for you all to participate with us. And so we want to know who are the right folks in our community to reach out to for those things, like when a new connector releases or when there's an update for a connector. We want to get that in your hands and get your feedback earlier on, so that you can have an impact on those connectors and the products that we're releasing. And then we also just have, sometimes we want to see what is the latest work that you've done, and that helps us highlight you all better. So if you haven't yet, please fill that out. Welcome, Nandu. Welcome, Neof. Let's get started. So today's going to be a little different. I've had a few folks reach out to me recently about extensions that they've worked on, and I honestly have just been swamped to be able to review them, and I want to. So I thought I could bring them on here, and we can look at them together And just understand that these are work in progress. If there's bugs or if we encounter anything like that, it's not a reflection of their work. They trusted me with this to see how they're, give some feedback and kind of show me what they've been working on. So, but because they're publicly available, I thought it'd be okay to show it here. So this is multi-asset collect. This is from Maya Anite, and this one's already on the community tab for this, the third party tab. So this is a new window under utilities. And if I understood correctly, this will allow you to batch collect assets. So add the currently selected files to the list of assets that will be collected, and then you can run them all in one go. So, really good quality of life improvement, right? Now we've had for a long time the collect asset uh, extension, and if you're not familiar with it, it's let's go to my downloads here. It's this one, right? We right click on something in the content pane and we say collect asset. And so this developer was like, well, for my workflow, I need to be able to collect lots of these all out at once, and I don't want to have to do this manually. So great idea, great improvement. I think, yeah, so it's gonna, this button is great. I can just navigate to wherever I want in my content window, and I set it based off of my content window. Really good use of the content window API for this. And we're going to add a few. Let's see, we can add one. Yep. Can we multi-select and add them? Yes, we can. We can remove one. We can reset, remove all of them. Great. So everything's looking really good so far. And I actually want to maybe collect this into a subfolder just so we can see what we're doing. I wonder if it just shows me the name. So one improvement might be to show me the full path, or maybe on hover, show a tooltip of the full path, because right now it's just the USD file name. So now I'm going to navigate away from this folder, and might get confused about which file that is. Where did I put this? What did I call it? I called it collected, right? I think I need to refresh. There it is. Okay, wish me luck. Here we go. I know I'm going to try the USD option, USDZ option, Funky Boy, don't you worry. Okay, it's doing the thing. I'll have to refresh here. Oh, I didn't update the folder path. My bad. Let's do this again. There we go. Okay, and it did the USDZ automatically, so that might be a bug there. Okay, so let me just write down these notes here. Yeah, progress bar looks good. I think there's a little bit of confusion there on the feedback. I'll take a look at it again. Handy dandy notepad. So USDZ generated even when I had the unchecked. I guess you guys can see what I'm writing. Could be some stale setting there, or default setting that wasn't read in. So that's why I said on first run. USDZ looks good. And then we said full paths in assets list or in tooltip. Cool. Should we put positive feedback? Just as a progress bar is nice. Nice. Okay, so let's do this one more time. This time I will check and uncheck, see if it still does the USDZ generation. And I didn't watch the progress bar. I was watching the content window. So I think this progress bar is right. This the USDZ collect is the one that's weird, and it probably has to do with this checkbox that's not quite behaving the way that it should. All right, so let's yeah, I think the UI was pretty, UX is pretty good, right? I didn't struggle at all to understand what I needed to do. So good UX. I think yeah. I have nothing to say on that. All right, so let's try one of these and see what we get. That looks correct. I don't know what all these files I actually have in them. But yeah. And then let's try one of these. Yeah. It's interesting that it, oh, because it's the, yes, this is correct. So when I did the reference, it didn't bring in the environment, right? Because that is outside of the default prim when I did the reference. So, but now when I opened this as a stage, now I have that environment that I had set up. Why did one asset turn red? Good question. That is, I don't know if it's a bug or if that's expected, but it's something to do with this material. I've already reported it. I don't remember where we landed on that. Which one was it? I think it was this one. I used a rounded, at least I thought I did. No, this one, something happened with this one. You're right. It looks like I couldn't find the MDL is broken. Omniverse, oops. It did a relative path. Let's try this one on the, let's open this as a stage so that we can see what happened here. We can dock this over here. So, of course, I have depth of field on this. Nope, wrong one. There we go. This looks right. If we look at where this is coming from, this is very likely a USDZ export bug and not a bug with this extension. This shader is coming from Omniverse content prod production, blah, blah, blah. So it's a relative path to, is it S3US or S3-US? Materials, V materials, plastic, and there's our MDLs, right? Opaque. Okay. And the issue is the polypropylene. I can never say these. So it's this one. So then let's take a look at the USDC. We're talking about this one. I'm going to open this up in a file browser. First, I'm going to get rid of all these extra files. All right. So it's this one. So what we can do is 7-zip will just extract this automatically. Oh, let's extract this to a different path. And this looks right. Oh, wait. The V material's not, oh no, it's this one, right? There's the V materials, plastic. So they're there. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I don't remember how materials are supposed to be defined in USDZ. The paths, at least. But that looks right to me. So if there's time later, I don't want to spend too much time on this. But there's something going on there with the USDZ and that path. All right, good question. I think I'm good with this. It's just the USDZ issue is the main one. Any other feedback before we move on? I think, as far as just what this extension set out to do and whether it's useful or not, and like it definitely is. It's providing functionality that's not there, that I know there must be more users that will want to use this, and it's easy to use. All right, if there's nothing else, we'll move on to the next one. So I had a little bit of trouble with this one. This one is much more work in progress. And I'll just make a note about the there's also an error about a syntax error in the MDL. All right. This one, like I said, is much more work in progress. There's a little issue here with the repository structure, so I'm going to go ahead and fix it. So this would be the name of the extension, which is fine. Ideally we want this to be typically 3 namespace. So something dot something dot something. But we can leave that like that for now. The main issue that I ran into is that when you turn it on, it's going to try to import GoBuilder. And we'll look at that in a moment. I'm going to change this path for a moment to the when I try to fix it this way, but that's correct. But we're still going to get that import issue, so let's fix that. So where that issue comes up is when Kit reads this extension, it's going to read this extension toml, and it's going to get down here and it's going to find this Python module, and here is where we're saying, hey, when this extension is read and loaded, go ahead and import this module. And this module doesn't exist. So all we need to do is come back here, add a GoBuilder folder. So now it's going to import this package, and this package is then going to import from extensions the extension. So this is more a typical structure for an extension. So I think we're good. There we go. All right. I don't know what that's all about, but those are probably builder utils. Yeah, we'll look at that later. I'm going to close this one. So on an unofficial extension for GoBuilder parts, I looked this up a little bit, but it looks like they're prefabricated robot machine parts that you can buy, almost like adult Legos, and you can use these to build your machines. So this one, from the looks of it, it will read the catalog and allow you to bring these parts into Omniverse. So a sort of, connector extension for GoBuilder, and it's great that somebody from the community took this initiative. This is from, I should also say who this is from, right? Get extension, Omniverse. The last recently updated. Y'all have been busy. I don't remember. Wait, no, I'm sorry. I need recently updated. There it is. This is from JJGIV. Some of you all may know him. And it's not released yet, so probably wait a bit. I'm jumping the gun here showing this. That's right, Legos are for adults, sorry. All right, so we got this new menu, which is great. And this one's looks to be a lot more complicated, so I'm going to have to follow this. First note would be for this kind of info window, it'd be great to have a scroll. We call it a scroll frame in Omniverse. The Go extension window. Because otherwise I got to do this. Let's make this big. I think this is the end. So nope, there's a step 6. I won't be able to see that one. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to get to all the physics stuff, but we can. I think the key thing here is the bringing in the parts. So it looks like these are categorized. These submenus are the categories for different parts. So let's go to our viewport, structure, grid plate. I'm going to go ahead and dock this now. It did a reference. I don't have the data. I don't think I saw that in the repo. Oh, it's there. But there's no really useful data. So I'm going to have to ask about this one. I don't know if it's supposed to generate this on the fly or maybe they're already pre-generated and he didn't include them for me. So we get a rough idea of what it's supposed to do, right? So it'll either just load the reference from the extension, or maybe it's generating the reference. But pretty clear. Oh. And then the about window is probably this one here. Cool. This about window could probably be checkable. Yeah, that's fine. And this is probably not finished yet. Viewport overlay is maybe not finished yet, but it's hard to say because it's probably like context aware when I select something. All right. I think that looks good. We'll have to do another pass on this one, I think. I am curious. I do want to see the parts in Omniverse, so I do want to go over this one again once I get this working. But I think I'm at a point where I can't show much more. I can look at the code and see. Yeah, so that one's not done yet. Viewport overlay is not done. Here's a reference. And yeah, I'll need to ask him for those assets. And it looks like he is putting extra attributes for things like cost and weight. So that's really cool. So what that means is you could build out your robot, and then there would potentially be a way to calculate your total cost afterwards. So in Legoland, we have a not like in the Lego world of Lego, there's this website called Bricklink that would do the same. So kind of cool to see this in Omniverse. All right. Is Kit 105 out yet? Very, 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 very soon. Funky Boy was asking is if extensions made during Kit 104 and before, if they'll need to be updated for Kit 105 because of a Python update. Most cases, probably not. If by Python update we're talking about we've updated from Python 3.7 to Python 3.10, I think. Then you're probably not doing anything special that has been deprecated. And then I the recommendation is absolutely with every major kit release, go through your extensions, test them out, run your automated tests, and make sure everything's still working, because there can be changes in extensions that you depend on. So a couple of releases back, we had the big viewport legacy to viewport 2 update, and that was a big one. But I haven't heard of anything substantial like that. There's the USD update too. That one, you want to use the asset validator to validate your USD content and make sure you're good. The big thing that's coming is the way that we bind materials. You want to make sure that that there's the metadata that is needed, that's required, starting with the it was supposed to be the next release of USD is supposed to have a hard requirement. I think that's loosened up, so less critical, but that was something that we were really preparing for. So yeah, I think it's good practice to write those automated tests and test on every release. I think at some point we'd like to have a way to, if you've published extensions, either on GitHub through that process, or on when we open up the publishing portal to publish extensions. I think we'd want to have a way to be able to test your extensions for you and let you know ahead of time, hey, this is what's changing with the next release, and that way you can get ahead of it, and it's not so much if it, your user base won't be as affected by it. So something to look forward to. I think I'm good with the extension review. I think it's really exciting to see folks building on Omniverse and seeing what ideas you guys have. So I'm looking forward to this one. I'll be talking with the dev to make sure this one gets out there in the world. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I think Isaac Sim folks will love it. So, and then the other one's pretty great too. So I think that one's ready to go. It's already released. So if you guys want to play with that one, I think you're good to use it. The user is Maya and Knight. So there you go. There was another question up above. Does Action Graph support async execution? Yes, I think is the answer, if we're talking about the same thing. Let's take a look. Action Graph. So to me, async execution means we'll get a on play event. I think it's a stage event, or OmniGraph start play, any of those. And then in theory, I haven't done this in a while. Doop, doop, doop. If we say first, second, third, and that's all we need. Come over to the console, clear this. We gotta see this output here. first, second, third. Well, they're running sequentially. But I think the idea is, I think if I should be able to artificially put a delay here. So let's see. What can we do to delay? Do we have like a delay? This is for animation graph. Yeah, I think this will work. So, bam, bam. And we're going to delay for, I don't know, second, third, first. Look at that. All right, so I was kind of playing roulette here with just feeding these all three and seeing if I could get lucky and change the order. But this is a more clear example that this delay is delaying this, and while this is delayed, these are still running, and they will fire as soon as possible. So this is asynchronous. This is action graph and OmniGraph are meant to be hyperscalable across multiple nodes, and everything should run as optimally as possible. So so yes, they can run. Let me check that question again. They can run asynchronously, but now that I'm looking at your question, maybe if you're still here, please clarify what you mean. Either way, I think this is useful information for y'all. So they can run in any order, but if you want to guarantee the order, there's a few things that you can do here. And then the sync gate. So one of the things that you can do is I don't think this will necessarily, I think this happens on this isn't going to fix necessarily my case here, but this will sequence these outputs so that this one fires, then this one, because I have this delay. This one's still gonna print out last, but let's test it to make sure. Oh no, I did it right. Sweet. So I would need to check the documentation on this. Maybe it's doing that full branch before doing the next one. Right, because I would have thought when this one fires, this would start the timer, and then this one would fire immediately after this one firing, and we'd see this print out first, but that was not the case. So we may need to check the documentation on that one. Let's do that now. What the sequence? I was hopeful. So I don't remember how to get to action graph nodes library. Maybe. Yeah, I think this is actually what I want. Library of action graph nodes. And we're looking for sequence. Yeah, it's not very clear to me. We'll need to have more information on that. Let me show this one more node, and then we'll move on to the next bit. So for this one, I'm going to input here. Nope. How do I want to set this one up? No, sorry. I don't actually know how to use this one. I thought I did. We'll leave that one for another time. All right. Data Juggler is asking, is there a way with Animation Graph to have a character sit or create little movements to look like a human acts? Yeah, I think so, but you'd have to add your own states and animations, right? Let's go to Composer. I think that app has the animation graph samples. So we did a little bit of this in Omni Anim People videos that I did, and it's the same idea. It's using the same technology under the hood. Omni Anim People is using animation graph under the hood, but it's using its custom command architecture for telling the animation what to do, or the characters what to do. So when you give it a command of like go to position XYZ and then sit at that location and then wave and all that, all all you're doing is you're with and some of them might be multiple states executed sequentially. So samples. So probably this example, state machine. All right, so we have an action graph here. We have an animation graph. State machine, if we double click in here, there are 3 states. Here, either idle, walking, or waving. And you can only get to the other 2 from the idle state. And I think that's pretty clear. Now let me look at the action graph to see how we trigger this stuff. So A, S, is it just those 2? Oh, there you go. We got the prompt here. Space to start, which we already did, and then press and hold A to walk, and then S to wave. So walk, idle, wave, walk, wave. And then I obviously can't do hold A and then wave at the same time. It's gonna actually pop me back to idle first and then did the wave. That's the basic idea. So data juggler. So yeah, data juggler. It's just a matter of building up that complexity to have what you're looking for. You can build out an action graph here. We're doing it by keyboard states, but you could have some randomized animation cut into this idle. So right now its default is idle, but you could have some timer that will fire, send a message to then trigger some other animation state if you wanted your character to be a little bit more, have a little bit more variety and feel more lifelike by the randomization. Yeah, the idle animation, it's a good animation. It looks pretty. It's got a lot of subtle details in it. But it is just a single animation clip, and it'll loop, and so depends on how complicated you want to make it. If for sure just animating a single idle animation and having that play infinitely is a much easier task than setting up some complex action graph and animation graph to do something similar or more complex. Oh, absolutely. And then this is an idle animation is absolutely better than just a still pose. So if you want to look at that, let's go back to the animation graph. This is using, idle is using the stand idle loop scale animation. So then we can look at this. Where? Oh, the animations are here. This scope has the three animations. So there's the idle loop. And what you could possibly do is do an animation retarget. Take this character, take your character, and retarget the animation from this character onto yours so that you get a free idle animation. And we have a sample for that as well. Retargeting graph. No, I think that's the one. Yeah, retargeting graph or retargeting clip. I don't know. I don't remember what's the difference. Yep. Cool. And then Massey Nisa was saying, why don't we add a multi-camera option in pose estimation to have accurate motion capture? I think that's a great feedback to provide on the forums. My understanding is that the pose estimation was just meant to be easiest way to get somebody started with animating in Machinima, which is take any video source. You don't need to be fancy. Just take a video with your phone, and the pose estimation will figure it out. We have great partners that are doing multi-camera setups, and we have integration of their technology here in Omniverse. Well, no, it's going to be in the. Take a look at the exchange section of the launcher, and I think there should be some extensions there related to motion capture. That may help you in the near term, and yeah, you can. I think it's good feedback to share with the development team on the forums to see if that's something they're thinking about, if that's what they want to do. But I at least know that we have great partners that have great solutions, and they're working on integrating, or they already have. So hope that helps. Cool. We're almost at the top of the hour. Any last questions? Is there a way to disable the save feature in my own Omniverse app? I do not want my end users to overwrite my USD files. Good question. What you could potentially do, I don't know. Let me pull this off to the side for a moment. File exporter, file importer. Okay, so we have the file menu. Sorry, just a moment. We have the file OmniKit file menu, which I think is what adds that there, right? It seems like it adds all of these. So maybe one way, I don't know how much this is what this is gonna do if I disable this while we're running. One thing to do would be maybe don't include that extension, create your own file menu, and you show only what you want to show for that file menu. So that got rid of a ton there. Another thing to check, maybe check first, is the extension toml to see if there's any settings that you can use to disable some of those things. Let's edit this really quick. Those are all test ones. Yeah, I don't see anything specific here. So maybe disable the file menu, see if you can get away with that, because there might be another extension that brings it in. You could also, during your app setup, is get rid of those. Actually, that's probably the easiest thing. If you look at our Kit app template, we show, and also in the setup for extensions for our foundation applications like USD Composer, there is a setup extension that will actually disable menu items. It'll remove them. It'll also move them around. That would probably be the easiest way forward, is let that stuff come in, but take off the menu items that you don't want. And you may have to disable, unregister the hotkeys. So that would be my way to go about it. If you are having trouble figuring it out, hit me up on Discord. I know you're on there, and let's talk more about it. I think that'll be an interesting thing to show. I just don't. We won't have time to do it today. Ashley. Yeah, Ashley brings up a good point that if they are sample scenes, then just make the scenes non-writable. Then the USD is just readable and non-editable. You could just lock. You could use Python to lock those files. If, for example, you bring them in through your data directory, and then lock them when your extension starts up. You could do that. And Nandu is saying that you can lock files on Nucleus as well, potentially, if that's more in line with your workflow. If it's some internal tool, just lock and you're all sharing the Nucleus server, just lock those files. All great ideas. Thank you, guys. And if you're working on anything that you can share, please share it with me. And I don't have to do have your extension on here on a developer office hour. I'm genuinely just curious and would like to see them, and I can provide feedback if you want, or we can talk about how we can share this with folks. So that is all. Thank you, everybody, for joining Developer Office Hour this week. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll catch up next week. See y'all.